Today on St. Louis People on the Move, I'm interviewing Mark Gellman of the Gellman Team. You will probably recognize him from his many billboards throughout St. Louis. Mark became a realtor in 2009 and set a goal for himself to be the first St. Louis real estate agent to close $100 million worth of volume in 1 year. Since then, he's crushed many more goals. Tune in to learn about his journey from a solo agent to a team leader to an investor and an entrepreneur. Hey, Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Dawn, thanks for having me. I'm honored. I'm excited.
Yeah, you're a busy man. It's hard to get you, but I feel really excited that you agreed to do it. So, just for the audience's information, do you want to give kind of a succinct picture of your life in real estate from when you got in till now?
Absolutely. 2009, got into the business, and I'll tell you a quick story. Am I allowed to tell stories here? Or what do you want?
Tell the stories. The stories are the most
awesome. Here's the thing. I had sold a business. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do, but I always was a real estate investor. I get my license, and I remember vividly, I was in the shower, and my wife said, somebody from Coldwell Banker Premier called. I passed the exam, and only one recruiter from every firm in St. Louis called. I went to work for that firm, and I've talked about it today because of the fact that only one person picked up the phone. We think we can send letters, we can send emails, all that stuff, but there's nothing like the phone. Went there, obviously, fast forward, 10 years later, I ended up making a decision to leave to go to EXP for the best opportunity for my team. Different story. We can talk about that later. But the point is I got into real estate. I went to a first event, was a Mike Ferry event. I said in 2015, fast forward 6 years, I'm going to be the first agent in St. Louis to do $100 million. 2015, we were the first agents in St. Louis to do $100 million. Because we put it out there, I internalized it, I was focused on it, and I figured out what my strategy. So I would tell everybody that don't be afraid to do a public declaration, which I actually did, and I told everybody. And the point is from there, I realized I wanted to build a business. And you and I talk a lot about building businesses. We can make money in real estate. We can do transactional real estate. But at the end of the day, are we building a profit center? Or are we building a business? I knew that I wanted to build a business. I knew I wanted to be the CEO to impact lives. Right now, we're an organization between agents and operations, somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 people. And every day, what drives me is to make our organization better, to support the people in our organization and change their lives. And so that's actually my passion right now. We're building something special, but it's special because of the people. And so I wouldn't do things different because of the people that I do business with. The same way you and I, which I think we may talk about, we're in business together. We're partners, although I don't get a piece of your commission, but the objective is we give to each other because of the ecosystem.
Well, okay, so let's back up because you did move from one brokerage to another. So you moved to EXP a few years ago.
I did.
Okay, so what was it about EXP that made you want to make that jump?
Sure, and I appreciate the question. And just to be very clear, I've been married to the same lady for 27 years. I've only lived in a couple houses. I like stability. I never believed that the grass is green. I'm just not one of those people that moves around. I believe the grass is not greener. You just have to fertilize your own grass and take care of that. And with that being said, I evaluated a different model, and I've really looked at it as what is the best opportunity for my people. As we all are, we're offered money to move to different places. We were offered from a competitor a significant dollar, but the fact is, at the end of the day, that would not have the significant impact that I wanted for our team. I could have been paid and made money from my people, and the most important thing was my people. It allowed them to get stock when they hit certain criteria, when they did their first transaction, when they brought people in under them, because a lot of friends want to work with their friends. Well, it was beautiful. We have multiple agents that have agents under them, and it's a beautiful thing. They also have the opportunity to get health care. And in an independent contractor business where healthcare is so difficult, they also get collaboration. So again, my objective is what is going to be the best to serve my people. At the end of the day, I could have got a big check, but it would have gone to me. Maybe I could have then written little checks to them, but that's not what it's about. I'm looking to build something long-term sustainable that's going to benefit everybody in the organization for the best opportunity. And that's what EXP's allowed for us. So I want to be very clear. I didn't move just for the sake of moving. And I'm still very close with the Coldwell Banker. I mean, they're very close friends of mine. Still, it was just not the best opportunity for my team any longer. We outgrew it. I needed something bigger. We were number 2 Coldwell Banker in North America, and we had very little collaboration. I was invited to a Coldwell Banker event, and I didn't have any exposure. I didn't meet anybody. We didn't have masterminds. Now every week I just got off of one. Actually, I cut it short a couple minutes so I could be on with you, my friend. But it was a collaboration of all the 50+ million dollar producers in our little ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay,
so
so
it's a
the
beautiful thing.
ecosystem, when you say ecosystem, you're referring to.
I'm referring to within this big EXP 85,000 agents. There's different, and they're good and bad, by the way. The good is I'm in the right silo. The bad is if you're not in the right silo. So I'm in the fast forward movement. Fast forward movement has about 7,000 agents. It's led by a couple brilliant people, and it's the highest producers. And I'm not in there because it's the highest producers, although I'm one of them. It's because I elected to join in this ecosystem and downline and so on and so forth. So the mastermind, the collaboration, the beauty of it is we are compensated directly from a rev share and other to give to the people in our world. And so the rev share is a direct contribution of your coaching and your collaboration. So that's been a beautiful thing. And it's for me, it's been a life changer because of the collaboration. I mean, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. And when you're in a small room, you could be, but the bigger you get. So always expand.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what I'm hearing you say. It was lonely at the top. You were number 1 in St. Louis and you felt lonely. So you reached out to, you went to EXP, and now you've surrounded yourself with these people who are growing businesses like yours and even are further ahead than you are. So you now put yourself in a position where you can learn from others, and like that collaboration and that sharing is helping grow like you as like your business and your people. And I feel like you get more out of it too, because I think you really like coaching other agents.
I love it. Well, when you give, you get in return. And even and it depends how you, and by the way, this is in life, it's in charity, it's in other. When you give, it's a beautiful feeling, and you get a lot back in return that can never be taken away from you. Number one. And number two, I also believe if you're not moving forward, you're moving back. It's hard to stay in the same place in real estate, in the business world. Our economy is changing. So here's the thing. I'm always looking ahead. I never look behind me, but I also am not static. And these are conversations you and I have all the time that I say, hey, you have to grow. Now there's different ways you can grow. You can grow huge, you can grow methodically, you can grow so I'm not suggesting there's no one size fits all for anybody. Grow whatever works best for you, but no, if you're not growing, you're moving backwards. And that's really my philosophy. So I always am looking ahead and keeping my eye on what's going on, best practices around the country. If I wasn't involved in this ecosystem of EXP last March and started hearing minor nuance changes of the market, started hearing on the West Coast little changes, we maybe would be insulated to think, oh, life's great. And then when June and July came along, and you're like, what the heck just happened there with interest rates going up, market slowing down? And so you never want to be lonely. You also want to surround yourself by greatness all around you.
Okay, so one of the things that we have is fast forward movement. That's the ecosystem that you and I are involved in EXP. And so fast forward puts on, is it 8? Is it 9 masterminds a week. Like
Absolutely.
there's so much education, like so much collaboration and education. Like there's no way you could take part of it. But like just going to one event and like hanging out with you, I feel like, I don't know, like I've learned so much in the last 6 months, like more than I probably learned in the last 6 years, right? Because I was running a good business, had a good solid team, but I just wasn't learning. And I knew there was so much more out there. I knew there was just so much I didn't know that I didn't even know. And now I feel like if ever I hit a slump, I'm just like, let's go to a mastermind. What are other people talking about? What are they doing in Tennessee? What are they doing in San Francisco? Like what's going on? And you just never know when you're going to hear that one little nugget that's going to put you on the next path. So I don't know. I've found it just so motivating and interesting. Like never a dull moment, always something to learn.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's opportunities. You may not be on every mastermind, but there's recordings of
Hugely.
them. There's different. The other thing is, I mean, people reach out to me, I reach out to them. We have our own inner conversation. So at the end of the day, it's just about leverage. I'm looking to have the best opportunity to succeed and give. And then it's so fun hanging out with you, Ms. Dawn, because hey, I get to, we have these fun conversations. I think actually, by the way, I think they're more fun for me than they are for you.
Well, for me, I always leave like, oh, I'm not doing or like there's so far to go, right? Because like you say, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about this? And I'm just like, man, I got a lot of work to do. But that's what I wanted, you know? That's what I wanted. I wanted someone to go, you're not living up to your potential. You need to get up earlier. You need to work harder. You need to do more of this. You need to give more to your people. You need to like that's what I was looking for. And so let's just drill down on that idea of a sponsor real quick, because before I moved to EXP, any mention of the downline made me feel icky. I was like, oh, I'm just going to be in someone's downline. People are just going to try to make money off of me. And from the outside, that sounded icky. But then there was the mind shift before I ever joined. Like you and I started having conversation. I mean, we probably talked for a year before I said, hey, Mark, will you be my sponsor? And in that year, I did talk to other EXP sponsors, but I feel like you very genuinely seem to really love helping people reach their potential. And in the past, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, who's ever downline I am, they're going to make money off me. That's the only reason they want me there. And now when I look at it and I see like, oh, yeah, you might get like a tiny little split of my commission. It is nothing compared to like what you have given to me.
And I appreciate that. And it's not even part of your commission because your commission's your
Right.
commission. It's part of the company commission. But yeah, at the end of the day, this goes all back to changing lives. If I can impact somebody's life in a positive way, that's it. By the way, I want to be very clear though. This wasn't me 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I was freaking just a bulldog, just run anybody over. I just wanted to produce. I just wanted to grow. I just wanted to make money doing it. And so I will tell you that's changed a little bit from my mentality. And so with that being said, this has been a beautiful thing. It's actually opened up my eyes to like giving, and then get. And so it's actually probably just made me a better person, unrelated. By the way, it's not for everybody, though, meaning,
right? Like it's not just, I mean, it's business, right? The point of business is profit. But that there's, and I don't want to call it an altruism. It's not an altruism. Like, what is it? What's that quote? Like, you can have everything you want as long as you're willing to help everybody else get what they want.
totally,
Like, I feel
totally.
like this entire model is founded on that quote.
And so you were saying something earlier, even that was very interesting to me. And so I like to say growth happens outside your comfort zone. And I think that's what you're doing. You were very comfortable. All good,
So
comfortable. And so growth happens outside your comfort. But going back, I mean, again, if it's all about us, When we change, people are going to leave. If people are coming to your company for splits, they're going to leave for splits. But if they're coming for, they understand a leader is so invested in them that makes it about them building an organization. You know you're going to win. You just are. And that's why this whole thing is just a winning. It would be disingenuous for me to bring on Don and not pour into you. It just would. But I'm not suggesting it happens all the time. Just to let you know, people bring people on and they don't do this. And that's maybe part of the negativity. We never talked about rev share. We never talked about the stock. I don't even know, since you joined, I think the stock's up like 70%, but we haven't even talked about that, because at the end of the day, where you're going to make more money is the kind of collaboration. And that's really where my greatest pleasure is going to see my friend Don skyrocket up, because I know you have dreams, you have goals. We just have to get there. We have to get those out and build something special. But I just love it. That's just it. But it's not everybody has this mentality, but the best of the best do. The best of the best givers, and those that are receivers give, because those receivers that I mean, Colton Whitney just was leading a mastermind I was on a few minutes ago, and I mean, he's a gem. He's going to do 200 million this year, and he started in the fast forward movement doing 20 million, and he's just built a business and built an organization. He's been able to leverage off of the leaders and learn and learn and learn. So it's a beautiful thing.
That the masterminds it's so amazing how easily people share, and they're just like, hey, can I get a copy of that? Sure. And then they post it in the chat. You can get a copy of anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't have to spend time reinventing the wheel. And then they'll share everything, like systems and processes, like those get shared with you like that. And if you have a question about that person's system or process, you just pick up the phone or send them a DM and you're like, hey, I have your buyer specialist agreement. Can you tell me a little more about, how you handle this situation? Like, there are people I did not know 6 months ago who now are on speed dial, and they're just, I don't know, it's amazing. Like, it's the environment that fosters that kind of collaboration. I had no idea it was here. People would talk about EXP and I was like, what's that?
Yeah, it again, it's exceeded my expectations from that, and I was very comfortable where I was. And by the way, I had a amazing financial deal, one of the best in the United States. So I mean, I did this sacrificing that, but in the long term, my ROI has been, I look at everything from an ROI, return on investment, and in this case, the ROI is far greater than just that point in time of splits at my old firm. So at the end of the day, it's been very positive for me. It's worked well. It's been a blessing. These type of relationships are a blessing. First of all, just to let you know, though, you're an amazing, not student, but you are, because you listen and you take it. And when we got on here, see, we met last week, you and we had some hard conversations. And then before we even started to, were you mad at me? And you go, no, I'm not mad at you. So anyway, that was cool.
No, I love that you tease me. You have a gift. I don't know if you, I mean, I'm sure you know it. Like, I try to emulate it. Like, how you can be, like, you can be tough, but you tease. And so that softens the toughness. And it never comes off as like, I don't know. I mean, I respond to it really well. Maybe it's not for everybody, but I'm like, when I was like, okay, I'm going to go to EXP, I got the concept. I knew some other people at EXP, and I was always trying to figure out, like, who do I want to be my sponsor? And I never probably told you, like, why I picked you. Do you want to know?
I see. I just like probably could catch up, but tell me.
Well, okay. So all the logical reasons, right? Like, you're number one in our market. And I was like, who do I want to learn from? Well, I want to learn from the best. And you explain things to me about EXP, but the reason, like, the main reason is because I love the way you talk about your wife and your children.
Oh,
I really do. And that, to me, I was like, okay, that just really, when you are trying to build a business, you can't forget about what's important, right? And so I was like, okay, so not only is Mark number one in our market, not only is he willing to like take me under his wing and teach me stuff and let me ask all the questions, you also had achieved this success. And it's really evident when you talk about your wife and your children that that's your priority. You know what I mean? And
100%. I love that. Thank you. You never told me that, but I love that.
well, yeah, because I just felt like, okay, Mark can achieve at a like a ridiculously high level, and he didn't lose what was important. And so as a mom, and a working, I had a funny story to tell you about Wyatt, but as a working mom, it's always like, am I spending my time? Like, I got to make sure I'm spending my time in the right places, right? You
100%.
don't get back age 9 and age 11 and age 13. Like, I'll never have this time with my kids again. So it's that has to be a priority. And so learning from someone who's made that a priority in their own life was really important to me.
Oh, I appreciate that. That means so much because I just was talking to an agent a few ago that I said, when you say yes to this, you're saying no to this. So when we say yes to a client that's not pre-approved, not realistic, X, Y, and Z, you're saying no to another client. You're saying no to your family, no to your and personal time. And so every decision we make, yes to this, no to that. And so it's so important. And I really appreciate that. Also, the fact is, I'll tell you two things real quick. My wife early on, and my wife is a gem. She's chill. Everything I am not, she is. And from a standpoint, I'm like intense. She's chill. But anyway, early on, I'd be at the dinner table. When I first started, I'd answer the phone when we're eating dinner. She's like, look, you're not an ambulance like driver. Relax, like like it's not triage. And then you're like, that's interesting. And so that really put things in perspective. The other thing I always talk about is being scheduled. So if my wife says tonight, you're gonna be home for dinner. Yeah, yeah, I'll be home for dinner. However, it's not defined. I may be home at 7, 8, 9. But when she says you're going to be home, we're going to have dinner at 6 o'clock, you're going to be there. Now all of a sudden I have a commitment at 6. Yeah, I'll be there. Then I put in my phone and then I'm there. So I talk about this, but transfer it to agents and other. If you're on call, you'll be on call and you'll always be available and you have no structure and it's going to be a shit. Am I allowed to cuss? It's going to be a shit show.
I can bleep it out.
Okay, please do. But it's going to be chaotic. But if you're structured, you're scheduled, you're efficient, you're effective. All of a sudden, if I have a 6 o'clock commitment tonight to my wife for dinner, I'm going to be there, no non-negotiable. The difference between saying, are you going to be home for dinner or dinner's at 6, or are you going to be home? So we have to balance, we have to figure this out. By the way, it's a core value, family, life, work, harmony. It's one of our 11 core values, family, life, work, harmony. We changed it, by the way, from family, life, work, balance to family, life, work, harmony, because they have to be in harmony. Balance means there's an imbalance, a balance that just doesn't work. But if they're in harmony together, so we made that change. The whole team did about 5 years ago. But the point is, thank you. That's the most meaningful thing, because at the end of the day, that's it. And nobody wants more, on their deathbed, nobody wants more money. They want more time. And so if you look at time, money, etc., you have to make these decisions. So I appreciate, thank you. That means a lot to me. So tell me
Well,
your story now. You were going to tell me
no,
a story about Wyatt.
I'm the
No,
interviewer.
no, but you were going to say, I got to tell you, what is it?
Oh, Wyatt. We were
Yeah.
outside. It's just funny. Like, we were outside. This kid, man, he knows me. But we were outside and we were playing football. We were playing catch yesterday. And I was looking at my phone. Like, I was right in the middle of something and he's like, let's go play catch. So I was trying to wrap something up and then I ran outside and we were tossing the football around and I wasn't giving him my full attention. And he goes, Mom, do you know that most NFL players have stay-at-home moms? Because I was on my phone and he was trying to tell, like, he was being funny, but like he knew exactly how to push my buttons. He was like, you're not giving me your full attention right now. And he was
Totally. It's beautiful.
yeah. No,
Well,
he
that's
really,
the same when I get all, I used to all the time. I would have a bad conversation with the client and then I would take it out on my kids. And then my kids said, just because that person pissed you off, you don't have to take it. And you're like, wow, you carry over things, and you really, so you have to be so cognizant. So by the way, I'll talk about this family life forever, but anyway, I know this is your show, but I'm passionate about it and I love it, and thank you for bringing it up because it's critical, and I focused on being a better parent, husband, all that because of these cognizant. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, because I feel like I get free parenting advice also.
I love it.
Okay, so we were talking about time, and I know that you said you're highly scheduled, but I really do need to know if you sleep, because I can't figure out your husband, your father, your team leader, you're running, I don't know how many other businesses, real estate investor. How it can't just be time, right? Like, how are you doing those things? And do you have
Sure.
an
So this schedule right here. So let me ask you a question. You actually sent me about 2:40 today. So it's
I gave
a
you
few.
tons of time to prepare.
No. But the point is, did you think that I would be there, or was there a doubt that I would be there, or were you questioning?
I've never ever had a doubt that you would be where you said you would be.
Right. Because it's in my schedule. I
Mhm.
tell doctors, like when they confirm, or like a dentist, or hey, don't call me the day before. Like if it's in my schedule. So here's the thing, it's absolutely non-negotiable. This was in my schedule. You sent me an invite, I pushed accept, so it's in there. I knew that I had this. I also know that I had a 2 to 3 commitment on that General's Mastermind EXP. So I was able to drop off about 4.5 minutes early, 5 minutes. But the point is, I'm extremely scheduled. And so stick with me on this. So when you go to a grocery store, do you have a list or no list?
No list.
Okay, so that's chaos. You spend way more time. Now imagine you went to the grocery store with 6 items. Do you think you could do that fast or slow?
Fast.
Great, because you get your 6 items, you know the grocery store. But when you don't have a list, you just aimlessly wander and you end up spending more money, you spend more time and buy more stuff. So with the difference between a list and no list, have you ever gone to a fitness center and known exactly I'm going to work arms and tries, I'm going to run, whatever it is, you walk in, you do it. But you have no plan some days and you just aimlessly wander, do a couple pull-ups, a couple push-ups. So the difference between my schedule and others is I'm extremely scheduled. I'm reliable. I show up when I say I'm going to show up. You can count on me. And I'm also extremely, although I do travel, and travel for me is somewhat tricky because it gets me out of my routine, and I love my routine. You can go up the street to the Starbucks and I will be there every morning between 6:59 and about 7:25, and I'm just there. That's like my downtime, but it's after I did yoga. I wake up at 4:48 in the morning. I do yoga. It starts at 5:45 to 6:45, but I get there about 5:23 so I can get my one spot. The point is, I'm very structured. And you may say, I don't know, but routines are easy because then you don't even have to think about it. And so that's just what it is. I have everything in my calendar. I'm very structured. Now, by the way, it's okay to structure spontaneity. By the way, last night we went out at 4:30, personal friends. We went out, have a boat, and we went out to St. Charles, and we ate dinner. But the point is, I had in my calendar that at 4:30 I had to leave here to get home. So the point is that scheduling a date night. I know that it's important to you. You said you have in your business plan. And by the way, business, personal, they're both a plan. You have a date night, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. Now, do you miss those?
No.
If you do, I'll kick your butt because that should be non-negotiable. We're not going to miss a closing where we get paid, but sometimes we miss that date night. That's stupid. So anyway, that those type of things, I'm just extremely scheduled.
You have also started Agent Nation. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's cool. Agent Nation is a brand agnostic, so it's not EXP. I have people from Keller, Real, all these different firms. I don't care. It's my give back because when you give, you get a lot in return. So it's a brand agnostic Facebook page. I just post how I'm feeling. Yesterday, I saw an agent, not on my team or anything. I said, "How you doing? How's business?" And she goes, "It comes in spurts." And I said, "You know what? Your activity comes in spurts, because if your activity is spurty, your business. So I just posted that just for people to think, thought provoking, like, hey, if I'm consistent, I'll have a consistent business. If I'm inconsistent, if I'm spurty, then I'll have. So I just post things, just people to think about. The other thing is every day, 8 to 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, I have a role play, and it's just a role play around the country, whoever can join. So that's how why I leave the Starbucks at 7:20, depending on the day, so I can go home, shower, and be ready for that. But I haven't missed that. You can count on me. Now, if I'm out of town and somebody covers for me, but again, I'm consistent. I just show up. So the Agent Nation is just my give back. It's fun. We have St. Louis events. We've had 2 events. You were one of the amazing panelists at one
Thank
of them.
you.
You gave. See, you gave. Everybody has their different jam and how they do business. The beauty of it is if we give everybody our playbook, some will do some of it, some will do others. Nobody's going to take our playbook. And even if they do, if we gave them our entire playbook, very few are going to execute the way you do your thing, the way I do my thing. So why not give? And good stuff happens. And we had 100 people there, and it was beautiful. We'll be having one coming up soon in about the next few months, probably in about a month and a half, and it's fun. We have an Educating the Agent series every month. I mean, we just give. It's fun. Why not impact people's lives?
Do you feel like that's your, I don't know, do you feel like you're headed more that way, more coaching, more training?
Um, I do coach a lot of people, but I don't like overexpose it. I don't want to advertise it. I just don't. It's just all organic. They come to me. I'm very expensive, so I don't excel. But no, I'm just kidding. But
Know your worth.
it's a passion. But I also equally, just to be very clear, I'm not going to take money if the person's not going to execute. So I'm a tough coach, because when they pay me, I then expect them to execute. And if they're not executing, they're wasting my time and their time. And so I actually part ways with people unless they're high level executors. But I love it. But I also love running this team, and it's beautiful. I love doing a lot of different things.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
fun.
well, I love your office. Your office is so pretty.
Thank you. That's where I'm at right now. Again, you can find me here most days.
Okay, so I think I have 2 last questions for you.
Anything.
Inventory's down. Inventory's down 10%, right? So
More than that.
more than that.
Well, it depends. Actually, inventory today is a tad up. Unit sales are down about 25%, just to let you know. So
Year
unit
to date.
sales are down. Yes.
Okay, so a couple questions to just for the agents out there right now. Market's a little bit tougher this year than it was last year. What are a few things that people should keep in mind to keep their business moving forward and keep their spirits up?
Sure. There's 3 things that will allow people to be successful. And I'm sure it's no surprise: to be scheduled, to be skilled, and to take action. So this is a market that you have to improve your skills, whether it's your market knowledge of knowing statistics and other, whether it's your area market knowledge, scripts, dialogues, to know what to say, who to say it. Be scheduled. When am I going to make calls? When am I going to door knock? When am I going to do call arounds, etc.? And then you actually have to do it. And so most people fall short in one of those 3 things. Schedule, they fall short because they're aimlessly wandering, like we talked about at the grocery store. They don't have the skills, so they do the work, but they don't know what to say. That's a challenge. Or they simply, literally, they just don't do it. And they have incredible skills. I mean, you have children, and you've seen at different events, whatever sports or like theater or whatever they're in, you've seen some incredibly talented kids that are lazy. And then you've seen some incredibly heart, that have a big heart, that work hard. They're not as skilled, but I'll take one of those over a skilled, lazy person any day of the week. And so the point is that too many people also want it to be perfect. So there's an old saying that perfect inconsistency, that won't get you anywhere. Consistent imperfection. So if you're just imperfect consistency, will outperform perfect inconsistency every day of the week. So every day of the week you have to show up and you have to do something. The problem is, the last few years, if you were an agent that was in this business the last few, it was freaking easy. By the way, it was just easy. And I hate to say it, but we were all spoiled. And team leaders, our job was a little easier because we would feed our agents. They would go out, they would sell, and then everybody would be happy. Well, this is a gritty market. As I mentioned this week, we had 26 homes go under contract in the last 7 days. For us, that was a good 7 day period. And by the way, they're all across the board. Two of those deals were from door knocking. One of them was from call arounds. Two were from open houses. A couple from Google, a couple from SOI referrals, and multiple different sources, because we never know where our business is going to come from, especially in this market. So here's the thing. You have to go deep on a few sources. If you're a team leader, you have to go wide and deep. But if you're an individual agent, you have to be consistent and do it every single day, whatever it is, consistent. So too many people will hold an open house and they'll hold it open one and nobody came in, no leads, everybody had an agent, and then they quit. No, every weekend or twice a week, 3 times a week, you have to continue to do it. So what is this market? The market's asking us to do more than we've ever had to do. And in many cases, not get the return that we've gotten in the past, because you have disappointment of buyers getting beat out. You have buyers getting fatigued in this market. So numerous things. So it's requiring us to show up the best version of ourselves, but every day, even the days you don't feel like showing up, you have to show up those days. And you have to figure out what your jam is. Are you good at talking to people? Are you good at on the phone? Are you good at door knocking? Good at open houses? And just go so deep into that you'll actually get an ROI. I promise you. The problem is nobody trusts that to do it so consistently. They haven't perfected it, and they actually just don't do it, and they don't schedule it. So I don't know if that answered it. There's no secret sauce. That's the biggest problem. There's no easy button. There's nothing like that. You just have to show up every freaking day.
Okay. So be scheduled, be skilled, take action, pick something that is your jam. Your jam. That's your catchphrase.
Yep.
Pick something that's your jam and go deep on it. Right?
Absolutely. And trust the process, because it may not work the first day, the second, but if you have a proven process that works over time, I promise you. We're in an Uber society. That's the problem. We push a button and an Uber car comes. We order on Amazon and then it gets delivered here. But here's the thing. Our business isn't like that, especially today. 30% less inventory or homes sales occurring. Well, the problem is we have a lot of buyers that are getting disappointed. So the point is we have to be consistent. We have to trust the process. We have to do it over and over again, and the results will come. Too many people quit too early.
Okay, last question, and then I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy. To anyone getting a real estate license now and entering the market and trying to find a broker or a team, what should they be looking for?
Can I go somewhere real quick before that?
Yeah.
Perfect. So somebody new entering the market, we started this whole thing with, I started in 2009, 2006 was the height of the real estate market. By the way, prices today are way higher than 2006. So we never thought they'd go higher. Yeah, they went high and then they went down in 2007, 8, and 9. Tough time. By the way, today is way easier for an agent than 2009. When I was an agent, I would show a home. Today, our agents are showing probably 2 to 3 homes. I was showing 30 to 40 back then because there was 15 months inventory. Today's there's less than a month. I would show a home. Client likes it. Well, let's see what else comes on the market. Let's see if they drop the price. Okay. Now you show that home, they like it, you have to write. So by the way, they're showing way less homes today than when I was started. So, and I don't want to sound like when I was your age, I used to walk to work uphill in the snow, right? You've heard that. But here's the thing. I want everybody to understand as a reference point, we were showing home after home after home with people with no mortgage. So that was actually harder than today. So now you're a new agent. What do you do? First of all, I always recommend interviewing multiple. When I have somebody interview us, great. Who else have you talked to? Nobody. Great. Go talk to other people. I have enough confidence in what we do as a reference point that if they're going to like us, they're going to like us after meeting multiple other people. So the point is, number one, I recommend to interview a bunch of people. And you have to figure out, look, You're an amazing team leader. I have a great skills, but we're totally different. By the way, we're not even competing for the same person, although you're going to have great people, we're going to have great people. But the beauty is it's big enough, there's enough to go around that you're going to find somebody completely aligned to your style. I'm going to find people completely aligned to mine. Ours aren't going to overlap. There's enough to go around. So you have to be authentic. I'm authentic. You're authentic. You're going to interview. So if they interview me and they interview you, they're going to pick up a buzzword from you or a buzzword from me that's going to resonate. Same thing as a seller. We could interview for 5 listings and you'll get 3, I'll get 2, or vice versa. I'm not going to get 100%, and you may actually get 100%, but I'm not going to, because I'm not going to resonate with everybody. But you have to be authentic, and you have to know who you are, and you have to know what your brand represents and other. And so the point is I'm recommending them interview. Plus, in that interview, you better get full transparency. That other brokerage, that team, whatever's talking, we'll give you leads. By the way, if somebody comes for the leads, you know what they're going to leave for?
No leads.
That's it.
No
If they
leads.
come for the splits, they're going to leave for the
Right.
splits, right? So if that's what they're coming for, they're going to leave for those 2. That's not it. So they have to understand who you are, what you represent, and what you're asking of them to do on a daily basis. And once you've set that expectation, that individual has to understand, I believe at this company, this, I'm going to be most successful here, under this person. And the beauty is there's enough to go around, and you have some incredible agents, and we have incredible agents. So the point is there's enough. And so going back to, if I'm an agent, I interview a lot of people. I make sure I feel comfortable with their systems, processes. We have a proven process we've used to sell over 4,500 homes with over 1,300 5-star Google and Zillow rating. It's just my elevator pitch. By the way, everybody should have an elevator pitch. That's ours. The point is if that resonates with them, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm cool with that. I have an abundance mentality, and mine, a scarcity mindset is there's not enough to go around. I need everyone. No, I have an abundance mentality.
So people just getting their license should interview more than one agency, more than one team, and they should be looking for more of a cultural fit than a splits or a leads mentality. So it's the whole picture. They should understand what's expected of them and how much their team leader will be pouring into them, and if there's a training process. What else? What I miss?
Sure, they should interview the team. I mean, you have carte blanche to talk to anybody on my team. Anybody does, because that's the experience. See, the problem is too many times you're told, I'm told that, hey, I'll do X, Y, and Z for you. Like, you maybe thought I was going to support you and give to you, but until I do it, you actually may not believe it. Mm-hmm. Even in the XP world, right? We're partners, and but until you've lived it, now you could tell somebody else, hey, join me, meaning join Dawn's world. And when you join Dawn's world, you get Mark, and Mark's going to give. And then I get on there and I actually give. Well, it's the same thing. We all say, no brokerage, no team, no anybody said, hey, we're the worst people here. No, they're gonna say, we're the best. We have the best training. We have the best culture. We have the best. But a lot of it is actually BS. So the point is that until you experience it. And so join a team meeting, talk to people on the team, ask difficult questions. I have enough confidence that they can ask anybody on our team any question, because they're going to find out soon enough. Nobody's done. So if they join, the worst thing that happens is they join, they find out this isn't for them, and then they leave. That doesn't benefit anybody. So the point is, have enough confidence in your mind that you can allow them to ask any questions, talk to anybody.
Yeah, that's how we do it. I usually have the first conversation, and then I say, okay, if you like what I said, you actually have to interview with every member of our team before you take the next step, because we want it to be 100% fit. We want it to be 100% like cultural fit. And I do tell the team, I'm like, hey, so-and-so is going to reach out to you. Don't sugarcoat it. Give it to them straight. Like, I don't want I don't want anyone coming to us under like false pretenses or like not understanding what we do or what we expect or what we give. I want I want 100% cultural fit.
I love it. And but that's authentic. I mean, that's authenticity that you're asking. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I want you're right. So like people are, if they interview me and they interview you, they're going to fit one of those places.
I think so. I'd like to say we're one of us will be the right answer. So no, I appreciate. So what else? I time blocked a couple more minutes. So we have, are we out of stuff?
Well, okay. So I also do a St. Louis lightning round. And are you ready? I didn't prepare
Shoot.
for this at all.
Shoot.
So.
Let's go.
Okay. So your favorite lunch spot?
My favorite what?
Your favorite lunch spot?
I took you there last week. I go to Gio's in Chesterfield Valley. I get the same, by the way, I'm sure it shocks you that I'm consistent, but I get the same freaking salad with blackened salmon every day. And if I eat there 4 days a week, I get it 4 days a week. So you were already there, Gio's.
All right. So if you had a Saturday afternoon, where would you go within driving distance of St. Louis?
So Saturday, and this is just for pure fun.
Just for pure fun. And the whole point of the St. Louis lightning round is for anyone who's not familiar with St. Louis to learn something. Or for me, who I get in a rut and I do the same things all the time, like what could I do differently?
Sure, I'll tell you. So literally, if I just had, and I don't even have to leave St. Louis because there's so many hidden gems of mountain biking at Castlewood. There's hiking out in Weldon Springs. But I do have a boat, as I told you, I went on it, so we go on the river. You want to go sometime with your kids?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll go on the river, over to Grafton. But the point is we have all these hidden gems that are outdoors that people don't even know. Because if you're not outdoors, you don't know about it. So I like Weldon Springs hiking. I like Castlewood hiking and biking. I like the river over and then going to Grafton, Illinois. It's cool.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being my sponsor. And I meant what I said. Like,
oh, that's sweet. Well, we still have to go out. We got to meet you got to meet my wife, and I know your husband. But hey, let's grab dinner one night on your day.
All right, we'll go to Pepe's. We'll go to Pepe's.
I love that. Anything else?
That is it. Thank you so much.
You're the best. It was fun.